Hey, welcome to Dads with Coffee.
You can't see us yet because I'm watching on my phone too.
It's a little
There
bit
it is.
behind.
There we are. Hey, everybody.
Hey, welcome to Dads with Coffee.
Okay, that's annoying.
Yeah, that really is. It's like the shadow game.
Yeah. Good morning, all. How's everyone?
Good to see everybody this morning.
As you can see from my first comment, I have notes today. And
Why do you have notes? We don't do notes around. We tried notes, and then it was just like got too
I know.
stilted. We couldn't script ourselves.
I know, but this is
In fact, the comments from the people were like, "Stop having notes."
This will be delightfully unscripted. Scripted. It'll be scripted, but you know us. We tend to go off the script often.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, okay. What have you got before I go down my rabbit holes?
Wait, where are you going today? You have something you want to talk? We haven't talked this morning.
I do have something I'd like to talk about today.
He tried to get it out of me this morning. I wouldn't let him. What did you have this morning?
This weekend's kind of a big weekend.
Well, yeah.
20th anniversary.
Oh, that too. Tomorrow there's a memorial on the base that I will probably be at.
Where were you? When it happened, where were you?
I was at the Naval Support Activity, New Orleans, Louisiana, going to get my shoulder looked at. Post up. And
how did that affect your base? Where you were
man, we were locked down tight. Like they got as many people off base as they could.
Right.
We were living in base housing at the time, and we left and we spent some time with some friends.
With 2 and 1 on the way.
2001, we had Carter was on the way.
Because I think he's just behind Samuel in age, I think.
Yeah, he's March of 02. So we had Marcus and Ryan, and then Carter was in utero.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. In fact, we didn't go to work the next day. They closed the base, except for essential personnel and security personnel. At the time, I was on the auxiliary security forces, so a couple of days later, they recalled all of us.
Right.
To stand and watch.
Right.
And man a gate and watch a fence.
So, were you in church at that time? I know you were. You weren't, and you were, and it kind of.
Yeah, we were at the.
I mean, I know Joanna was, but were you
yet?
Yet?
First Baptist Belle Chase. We were very active. In fact, that's who we stayed with. Gary and Miss Frances Byram. We stayed with them and their 2 boys. In fact, Joel Henry Byram is the namesake, or one of the 2 namesakes for Evan Joel Warren.
Ah.
Yeah, so me and Joel were good buddies, and Carter looks a lot like Joel. You know, they're both offensive lineman types.
Right.
But yeah, it was at first I thought it was an accident, you know, like I'm sure everyone did.
Right.
Like, how did some idiot just fly an airplane
exactly
into one of the
how does this
2
happen?
tallest buildings in the United States?
How do you not see that?
And then it happened again, and
yeah, then the whole Pentagon thing.
So my appointment got canceled.
Yeah.
And I rushed back to the base to get back to work. I was in 2002. Or was I working? That was a long time ago. That was 20 years ago.
20 years ago, I know. Well, I mean, Samuel was 10 days old. So we were in sleep deprivation. It was our first child. Sleep deprivation was, in it. I was at the office and, Dulcie calls and I'm like, what? I mean, it was just one of those.
It's a what moment? Yeah.
You don't. I'm sure for the generation older than us, the boomer generation, it's the JFK moment.
Yeah.
It's like, excuse me, what?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen here. It's kind of that moment. It's like, that doesn't happen. Of course, I mean, Reagan got shot at too in his time frame. But I mean, I just think that it's one of those marker moments.
Yeah, I don't think that was nearly as well calculated though.
No, not as the JFK thing.
Yeah.
And, and all the conspiracy theories that fall behind the third bullet. Anyway, but you've got the 9/11 thing, and that I've been doing a lot of reading on generational studies, and they tend to mark generations by the events
Mhm.
that happen to them. And depending on when you have this Gen Z, which is the youngest generation alive, depending on when you have them start, 9/11 has shaped that generation.
Oh yeah.
I mean, one book I read actually started them back in 90, which I personally I think is too early. Everybody else has them starting at about 2000, 2001. And 9/11, even though Gen Z wasn't alive pretty much yet,
Right.
the aftermath of that has shaped that generation. Vietnam shaped boomer
Mhm.
generation.
Mhm.
The greed of the 80s, Greed is Good,
Right.
by Gordon Gekko, shaped our generation, along with the Iran Contra affair and the Middle East war and all these other things. But 9/11 shaped our kids,
Right.
Their generation, and it's always going to be the safety that I think we and older than us felt in America, even with the JFK thing. The safety we felt in America was bar none. It was just there. This generation now has,
Well,
they don't understand that because they've not ever really experienced
and a lot of that is because of technology.
Oh,
But
sure.
not necessarily just the news feed that you get, but you have ranged weapons now
Absolutely.
that can traverse half the world.
Right.
And so no matter where we are, no one's safe.
Right.
per
Well,
se.
but until 9/11,
No
what
one thought about that.
foreign country ever thought about?
Yeah.
Really? I mean, we had the Cold War, and yeah, we had all that between us and Russia.
But never anything on
but-
U.S. soil.
but not it wasn't really. I mean, so each one could annihilate the other, so nobody annihilates the world. I mean, but
Right.
now you've got this, and I just think that it has shaped. One book I read actually wants to call Gen Z the Homelander generation, because Homeland Security wasn't a thing
Mm-mm.
until now.
Yeah.
I think this generation, I think we're 2021. There's a generation marker happening somewhere along right now that where Gen Z will close out and a new one's
Right.
starting. Now, whether that's going to be
Alpha.
15 or 20 or when it is, it's going to mark us. But I was in the office trying to stay awake because we weren't sleeping every 2 hours.
Right.
We're up.
Yeah.
Dulcie had C-section, so she's in recovery from all of that.
Right.
Can't lift the child for 3 days.
Good times.
No, it was great times. Yeah. That's a whole story, not suitable for right now.
Yeah, we don't tell those stories online.
But I just thought it was interesting that as we approach the 20th anniversary, how has that shaped our Christian lives? How has that shaped our churches? I don't know that we can help but have it shape us somehow.
Well, it has definitely impacted every person that's for sure that was alive during the time.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the next 20 years, just how we do things.
Yeah.
We're more conscious about security than we ever have been.
Well, in our particular location, for those of you that don't watch that are close to here, our particular location had some shootings in churches, and we have members here that were at Wedgwood 18, 19 years ago as well. And, that the level of security and some recent church shootings, even in Texas, the level of security that we deem necessary was unheard of when I started ministry. It was unheard of.
I've gotten, it wouldn't be uncommon for a church to leave its doors unlocked.
Yes.
Throughout the day.
Yes.
And just let people walk in.
Now we have to buzz in to get in here. That's fine. I'm just saying.
Yes. It's
in comparison to.
Yeah. To what used to be. I mean, the world that we live in is, and that's kind of leads into the lesson that I taught last night. It was based on a breakout that I did in 2018 at Falls Creek. And the breakout was called How to Love in a Hate-Filled World. because I don't think we've gotten any more loving in the past 20 years.
Yeah. I don't think so either.
I think as a society, 20 years ago, we were more forgiving. We were less guarded. We were able to let some things go.
So we're not as loving. Do you, as a whole, do you find that there are?
I find that there are many more angry people today. Now, maybe it's because I'm 20 years older and I'm a crotchety old man now. But at 28, I don't remember the hate and anger that we have today.
Yeah, because I mean,
is it because I'm young? I mean, we have some people that were my age watching 20 years ago. So
here's the deal. I find, for lack of a better term, and it was a movie title, I find a whole bunch of grumpy old men out there in church, not in church. They're grumpy and they share their grump. But I get out on Crowley Talk on the Facebook loop on Crowley Talk, and hey, it's bad.
Yeah,
there's a whole lot of anger going on in the younger generations too.
Yes,
and I agree with you. I think that while we want to talk about the grumpy old people, everybody's angry, and I'm not sure if it's just a lack of Jesus in their life. That
I think that's probably 80% or more.
You know, whether you aren't really following or you are chosen to be non-believing, there's so much anger.
Yes,
and
no, I mean you could pick whatever you want to be angry about too.
Yeah. Well, but look at our news cycles. We're feeding anger.
Well, yeah. If it bleeds, it leads. If it's bad, it's red.
Well, and not just that. That's true. Not just that. But have you noticed the last 5 to 7 years the switch over in the radio broadcasting and the radio news, where even I listen to a lot of sports radio, and all they do is yell at each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
gosh, First Take. You ever watch First Take? It's
on Fox Sports in the morning.
Oh,
it's horrible. And Get Up, which is Mike Greenberg's new show. It's becoming the same. And he entices it because I guess people like to listen to all that. And I listen to it because I like a few things. But oh my gosh, all they do is just want to argue and fuss about this, and I'm
just for argument's sake,
just to argue. And I don't know. I think that is culture feeding that, and it's that feeding culture. I mean, it's just we're angry. We want to share our opinions, and by golly, I'm going to share it, and you better listen to it. And it's just, I don't know.
That was actually point number 2 last night.
Sorry, I got off.
No, it's okay. Because no, I mean, we as believers shouldn't respond the way the world responds.
No.
The world responds. If someone yells at you, you have to yell back louder.
Right.
Until we've gotten to such a point where we're out of control.
That's right.
I mean, there's no coming back from it.
And we as a believer, the ninth fruit of the Spirit is self-control. There should not be a time you're out of control. Period.
Right.
Should not be.
Well,
but I'm human. Okay, yeah, we are at times, but we should not be on the regular.
I agree.
Out of control ever. If you are being led by the Spirit, you will not be out of control on the regular. It's not going to happen.
Right.
And if you are, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
You know, don't respond like the world responds. Scripture reference for that is in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. So go read that. Somebody put that in the notes for us. I wouldn't put it in my phone, but when I open
it's going to start talking.
It starts talking to us, and I don't want to hear that.
Right.
Because that'll just annoy me. Then
this will be 7 seconds.
So the first point of the lesson last night was be a peacemaker.
Right.
We don't have a whole lot of peacemakers left. So what we tend to do is we choose sides.
So we're a peace breaker.
We're peace breakers. Yeah. So we take and, well, this person has a great idea. Let me jump on that.
Right.
And if anybody's against this idea, well, we'll just shout them down.
Right.
We're not going to listen to your ideas because they're dumb, because they're not ours. This is where we're at.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is where we need to be. And if you can't be here, then phooey on you.
Our way or the highway.
Right.
Yeah.
There's not enough peacemakers in the world.
No.
I
Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers."
don't think.
It's a beatitude.
Yeah, it's in Matthew chapter 5. Look it up. I don't think. I'm not sure a lot of people want peace, though.
No, right.
I mean, their lives would not be
if we don't
their
have something
lives
to fight.
if it weren't chaotic and always in consternation.
Right.
We always have to argue and complain and fight about something.
But James, favorite book,
Sure is.
chapter 4,
Mhm.
says, "Why are there quarrels among you?"
Yeah.
There's quarrels because you aren't following Jesus.
And this has been going on since.
That's what it comes down to. You're quarreling because you're not following Jesus.
I don't even know if we got to get to the next.
What's the next point? I mean, but it's
The next point is bless those who curse you. People
This
are going
is
to talk
just too
bad about
simple.
you.
this
is simple. That's what I'm saying.
It's too simple, Keith.
How do you love
It's
in a
too
hate?
simple.
How do you love in a hateful world? Be like Jesus. Be like Jesus. The final point.
It's too easy.
1 Thessalonians 5:17. Live your life in such a way that it is pleasing to God that you are. Oh no, I'm just going to mess it up. So I'm going to look it up.
Well, you live
I
your
don't-
life in such a way that as you please God, you glorify God in front of an
Yeah,
unbeliever,
but
and
I like the way Paul wrote it.
I know.
Well, I like the way Paul wrote it, and my Bible translated it. So
Right.
I'm a New King James.
Unless you're going to go
guy.
straight to the Greek,
If
it's
you don't know, maybe later. I don't want to download it right now. We're in the middle of a
New King James, huh?
show. That's right. I'm a New King James guy. I'm kind of an old new school. No, let's pray without ceasing. What an idiot!
5:17.
Yes.
Let's pray without ceasing.
Again, that's a great verse, though. Do it.
This is what happens when we are not scripted.
Well, we weren't planning to be scripted. I didn't print the back page.
But I mean, it's just, it's so simple. It's difficult. What did Jesus do? Go do that. I've got this bracelet on. On the one side, it says, what would Jesus do? Good question to always ask yourself. But the answer is he would love first.
That's not the one I made for camp.
He would love first.
I made that exact bracelet for camp. All the kids wear it all the time. So.
I don't know where I got this. I got this. I don't know where. And he would love first. Well, but what if they're love first? Well, but they're morally.
Jesus didn't have a lot of what ifs.
Love first, and that's the hardest thing that I have found for Christians today to do. Just love first, because we misunderstand what that means.
Well, it's a different kind of love, right?
Well, if we want to get into the shades of love,
that's what started this whole discussion. Yesterday was an awful day for me.
Yes.
I won't get into all the details, but I ended up taking Evan to the doctor. He's fine.
He's fine.
And he's returned to school with no restrictions. That's what's important.
There you go.
Um,
Major on the important thing.
But I spent the first 4 hours of my day with Evan, which took me away from everything that I had written down to do that day.
Right.
Life with children has a tendency to change things, even when they're mostly grown.
Right.
But John 3:16 just kept rolling in my head for no reason. John 3:16 is not even one of my favorite verses.
No, 17 is your favorite.
17 is my absolute favorite verse in the whole entire Bible.
Now, is it your favorite verse because you're just being obstinate about the 16, and so 17 becomes your favorite verse?
No, I love 16 too. but 17 speaks more strongly to me because you did too. You did. Because we have a tendency to focus on what we do and not what Jesus does.
All right.
Jesus didn't come to the world to condemn the world. He came to the world
Right.
to save the world.
Yes.
God did not send his son to condemn us.
Nope.
So who are we to condemn others?
He would love first.
So then look at 16.
Yeah.
God loved the world so much
That's right.
that he sent one and only son, Jesus.
Right. And he didn't want to condemn. He does not want to condemn the whole world to hell.
No.
That's why Jesus was here, is that he wanted to give the optional moment there. There's a plan, there's a different option, and he would love for. So it was going through your head.
So I couldn't get John 3:16 out of my head. And I was just going to speak just on John 3:16 last night.
Right.
And then I don't know, well, it just flashed into my head. Hey, what about How to Love in a Hate-Filled World? I remember this.
Right. You remember
this breakout that I did 4 years ago. So I printed the outline for that. Actually, I made a whole entire booklet for it when I took it to camp. It's kind of weird speaking in front of 150 kids that you don't know. It's kind of intimidating. I was expecting like 30 kids each day, and the room was absolutely packed. Number one, that tells me kids want to learn how to love and know what true love is.
Right.
Because
it waits.
We'll talk about that all. We'll talk about that. I have strong opinions.
I know you do. I know.
Gosh, why does he do this? Why? Hold on.
Get some more tea in you.
I don't even know where I was. So here I am, John 3:16.
Can't get it out of your mind.
I can't get John 3:16. And why, God? Why is John 3:16 stuck in my mind? Well, I've listened to some students, and one of the things that we as a society have a tendency to do is that if you have beef with somebody, I have beef with that person too, because on your behalf, I don't even know what it is.
Right.
You seen the meme going around on Facebook?
But you're mad, so I'm mad for you.
So many people are mad at me and don't even know anything about me.
Right.
Because you're mad at me.
Right.
Because you have beef with me.
Right.
1 Peter 2:23, let God handle it.
Yeah.
It's written by Peter. Peter cut a dude's ear off. Okay.
Yeah. He's all about knowing. Yeah.
Peter flew off the handle often.
He often spoke before he thought.
But he spoke the way Jesus reacted. And Jesus didn't fire back. Not hatefully.
Yeah.
Jesus fired back with scripture.
Yeah.
Jesus fired back with parables. Jesus never fired back in a hateful way.
I can't imagine the look that Jesus gave Peter when he cut the dude's ear off. He's like, I can't.
Every time I can say, he's like, Peter.
I can. This is a meme waiting to happen, but it's just like,
yeah, really,
Peter.
There's some big things going on now.
This is not what we do here. I could just, whoop, ear hits the ground. Peter's like, yeah,
got him.
Jesus like,
Peter,
seriously,
Peter, I'm going to jail here, bro.
Man,
you're not making this any easier for me.
You're not helping me.
Come here, let me put your ear back on.
Yeah. Stand up.
Come on, come with me. You'll be fine. You'll hear just fine tomorrow. Yeah. Don't have beef with somebody just because somebody else has beef with them. That's not okay.
This is Congress in a nutshell.
Oh gosh. What's the opposite of progress?
Congress.
That's right.
But and not to get political, but they are a microcosm of what's going on in our whole country.
Yes.
That one person has a beef about something, and now 42 other people have a beef on your behalf.
Right.
That if they actually listen to the story, they may not have a beef with that person, but they haven't paid attention to the story. They haven't looked into the story. They haven't investigated what's going on to make a decision on their own about it.
Yeah.
And that complicates everything.
I don't post any political opinion on, and I would hope that, well, I'm a centrist that leans right.
Well, here's the deal. What good is it doing when you do that? How is God receiving glory when you post what you post, not you personally, what people are posting, They're mad at the politics. They're mad at the vaccine. They're mad at CDC. They're mad and I see all these posts on them, and they're just stirring up anger and strife. How is that glorifying God? It's not. How is that spreading the gospel? It's not. In fact, what you're doing is you're harming the gospel. I got about 7 people in my mind right now that they just need to sign off Facebook for the rest of their life because they haven't said anything good in 3 years. They need to quit because it's not helping the gospel. You're hurting the gospel. You're hurting the church. You're hurting the church's reputation in the community because you can't keep your mouth shut on Facebook about stuff that doesn't really make a hill of beans difference in the big term of things. It's not eternal.
Right. We don't think heavenly thoughts.
We're not.
Yeah.
We're not.
And I can't say that I'm always, I will never, ever in my life say that I'm perfect.
Well, here's the thing. Offline, you and I could have a conversation about things
behind closed doors,
but I'm not posting that stuff online.
Right.
It's too volatile, and the message that needs to be shared is too important for it to be distracted by all this other nonsense that we put out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to take a different approach to this. But people need to know the truth. Oh, they do, and I agree. They do need to know the truth, but how is what you're doing going to really help them know the truth they need to know?
How did Jesus respond to that? John chapter 14 and verse 6. I am the way.
Yeah.
And the truth.
Yeah. And get them to Jesus. Don't get them to your political bent. Get them to Jesus. Don't get them to your vaccination point of view. Get them to Jesus. Don't get them to your COVID conspiracy. Get them to Jesus. This is the point we have to be making in this world, because as your first point said, darkness doesn't eliminate darkness.
No.
So your hate about whatever it is you're hateful about is not leading people to the light. It's just leading them more to hate. And dark leads to dark. You've got to be the light. I think that was also something Jesus told us. Be salt, be light. And if we're not being light, we're being darkness. And if we're being darkness, then we're children of the devil. And how can you...
If we're not children of the devil, we're absolutely allowing ourselves to be used.
We're minions of him, if nothing else.
We're absolutely allowing ourselves to be used.
And who wants to be used like that?
Not me.
But, so we just have... I'm having less and less patience with that stuff. And hey, I'm sure I've put things out there that frustrate me from time to time too. And I've deleted several things because it's just like, okay, that's not helping. And I've taken a different approach, tried to. It's no, we've just got to do better. We have to do better.
We do have to do better.
Why can't we do better?
Well, because better's harder.
Yeah.
It's okay. So
being crucified sure was hard.
Jeez, yeah, he does it exactly like that. I think we're going to wrap up with this because we can get to a point where we're just talking,
and that's different.
Well, concerning this subject,
yes.
Paul writes to the church in Philippi, "Let your conduct be worthy of the gospel of Christ, so that whether I come and see you or am absent, I may hear of your affairs, that you stand fast in one spirit with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel." Those are pretty simple instructions.
They are. Live
your life in a manner worthy of the calling of Christ.
That's right. That's the call. And if we're not doing it, then we're failing.
Then all we're doing is fueling the fire of hate.
Yes. Paul said to Timothy, fan the flame of the Spirit, not of this other stuff. And it's too easy for us to mingle the two together because of just issues we have in in church and politics these
Well,
days.
they're worldly desires is what they are.
Yes.
We tend to,
The
our
fact,
world life isn't our church life. And
and our
vice
church
versa.
and our church life isn't in the world either. We've separated the two.
Right.
Well, I have my secular life and I have my spirit. No, you have life. You just have life. You have life, or you live the life.
Live the life. Yeah.
When white evangelical Republican becomes a thing that's being statistically analyzed.
Yeah, not good.
No.
Not good. I don't necessarily believe in categorizing people
Not
in
to
such
that
a
degree.
way. So,
But people are categorizing themselves.
Mhm.
We got to be careful. Jesus is above those things, and so should the church. And the church, not the building, not the sign, not the website, the people called by Christ are to be above those things.
mhm.
And we have to be real careful how we live and breathe and act so that it's Jesus people are seeing. And if we're doing things to distract them away from their options in that regard, then we're sinning,
Yeah.
and that needs repentance and confession.
We may be the only Jesus
Yes.
people ever see.
And as cliche as it is, it's true. It's true. And this is how you love people. You put down, you stop bearing arms, and you start in whatever figurative language you want there, and you love them, and you help them. I heard something the other day. I've been listening to this podcast, and I heard it the other day, and it said, shame-based approach rarely breeds the results you want.
Mhm.
In the rarest occasions, maybe, but more often than not,
Well,
shame-based doesn't lead to what you want.
It just causes them to dig in deeper.
Yeah. But love
Yeah.
changes the world.
Imagine if I were to come at you and shame, Aaron.
Oh, I know.
I
just bow up. Romans 8:1, there now no condemnation in Christ
Right.
Jesus. And there's so much condemnation and hate out on social media right now by Christians that it's just awful. It's just awful.
not healthy. Unhealthy.
It is unhealthy. It's
Unhealthy.
unhelpful. It's unwholesome. It's ungodly.
We got a lot of comments.
Now on to another
Yeah.
topic that's of lesser importance, but it might be very interesting.
I like Norma's. We just need to quit fussing.
We do.
Just quit fussing.
We do.
And then, selfish people try to avoid conflict.
The
In
Pe-
Philippians 1:27.
The people who need to stop fussing aren't the
Okay.
ones probably listening right now.
Okay.
No, there was a debate that was going on.
Have we shifted topics?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
shifting topics. I told you.
Great.
Now on to something else. You were reading comments.
Yeah.
There was a debate happening, and you and I fell on the same side of this debate.
Okay.
And I think that it's very critical that everybody understand that black licorice is the best
Black
thing
licorice
ever.
is delicious. Black jelly beans.
I don't know what your
black
sister is
licorice.
thinking. Black licorice is the best.
Well, see,
it's far better than candy corn.
here's the thing. My sisters are jealous of me because mom loved me more and would only share her black jelly beans with me. And so
Why you got to be that way?
it's true. Look,
Why you
got
gotta-
said it's true.
Why you got to be that way?
Because it's true.
You're such the baby.
I am the final child. My nephew's wife put on a family roll call thing. It's like, who are you? You answered it because you said me,
Yeah, me.
and I said
I'm by myself.
Laura went all fancy. She's like he, her, him,
Oh, I know.
that, this. I just did them and me because at the end of the day,
It's them
it's just them and me.
and me.
And they know it. They know I was mom's favorite. I mean, it's just. I mean, how can you be the baby and not be the favorite? they were done because they finally got
They got what they
one
wanted. Ouch.
Yeah. And so
This is sibling talk for years gone by.
They pick on me all the time.
You've been doing this a while.
They've been calling me sissy baby since I was knee high to a bullfrog, and you know what? I'm getting mine. Yeah. So
I eat my black jelly beans and go along my way.
I love black jelly beans.
Oh, I do too.
I get an entire bag of black jelly beans every Easter.
Yep.
And black licorice. You know who has really good black
I
licorice?
prefer it.
Buc-ee's.
Oh, really?
Really good black licorice.
Well, if I ever make it past the beaver nuggets, I'll try the black lug.
I like those.
I like them.
It tastes like super puffed, sugary, dry cereal to me.
Yeah, with some toffee. And that's pretty good.
I don't like beaver nuggets. Anyway, yeah, I'm the favorite. Black jelly beans for the win.
So you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you if you're local or online. We'll see you this weekend as we start a new series.
Yes, I'm excited. Hebrews 11.
One faith that leads them all.
Hebrews 11 is my favorite chapter in the Bible, if you don't know.
So we'll open up this weekend and talk about faith.
Yeah.
And define it. What is it? What isn't it? So we'll talk about that this weekend. Then the next weekend, we'll start into the character studies. As we'll look at Abel first.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's my favorite chapter.
My son, I employed my son,
the historian.
I voluntary employed. I didn't pay him, but I employed my son because he is a Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah,
person. And I said, one ring that leads them all. I played off of that with one faith leads them all. And I said, will you search the 6 movies for graphics that go along with all of these things? And so we met him for dinner the other day for his birthday.
You put him to work.
And he's got it done. He has 2 pictures for every message and a 4-page document that explains everything that he was thinking, why he picked those things.
It'll be available on his website.
Yeah.
SamuelSummers.com.
And he's like, he said, I'm 20 years old. I think this is my favorite sermon series by far you have ever done.
He'll be tuning in online. Samuel will go to his church.
Just because I've referenced his favorite set of movies.
Yeah. There's a lot of Lord of the Rings fans out there. So
yeah, he was, we watched that every Christmas.
Are you really sitting in church like, Laura, No, you don't, Laura. You sure you spelled my name wrong? How you gonna do that? Black teeth are beautiful. They kind of turned purplish.
That's right. All
right.
Not true, but we got to go.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see you guys. Have a great weekend.